Hi guys, in this video we are going to work with Prelim 2022 Gauteng. Yes, this was a Prelim that was written in Gauteng last year. Yes, it's mathematics paper 1. We are still continuing guys. Now we are looking at functions. Yeah, more specifically in this video we are going to work with grade 11 functions. So as we can see, let's read the statement. It's very important to read the statement first. So the graphs of f of x is equals to x plus p q squared plus q, and g of x, which is equals to a all over x plus b plus c, are drawn in the sketch below. And have the following properties. The first property is that we're given that 5 all over 2 is 0. It's a point on the graph of f, which is specifically here. Then we have P as the turning point of f, and it lies on the vertical asymptotes of G. We can see it also cuts the graph of f, right? So, and the vertical asymptotes pass through 1 and 0, which is this, as well as 0 and 2, which is from here to here, right? And they said the graph G passes through the origin. The origin is where the graph is 0 and 0 here, where they interpose, where the y-axis and the x-axis intersect. So it's gonna be here 0 and 0. So the first part, guys, we are required to, at 4.1, show that the equation of G can be written as y is equals to 2 divided by x minus 1 plus 2, which is 3 marks, right? Okay, let's put that into practice. First thing first, guys, at 4.1, okay, let me just, at 4.1, we are given that this is y is equals to a all over x plus b plus c. What is interesting, start with the asymptotes. You can see that we have a vertical asymptote that cuts here, it's 1, and the horizontal one, which is 2. So let's place them, right? Okay, this is y is equals to a. As we can see, it has shifted to the right. When you shift to the right, we are going to subtract. So in this case, meaning that it's not going to be x plus 1, it's going to be x minus 1. The shift, it's on the right hand side, because when you equate this, x minus 1 will equated to 0 will be positive 1. So it's correct. So after that, you also have to put your horizontal asymptote, which was 2, right? Okay, we are not done. We are required to also find the value of a. So how will we find the value of a? We were told that the graph G passes through origin. So if it passes through origin, the coordinate was 0 and 0. So that makes x and y here. So after that, where there is y, you place 0. So it's going to be, where there's x, you're also going to place 0. So it's going to be 0 minus 1 plus 2. So what are we having there? We're having a 0 minus 1, that's negative 1. A divided by negative 1, that's going to be negative a plus 2, which is equals to 0. You can take negative a to the other side, that makes a positive. So definitely we have a is equals to 2. Therefore, we are not done. Remember, they said we need to leave it in the form of y is equals to 2 divided by x minus 1 plus 2. So that's how you can get that 3 marks, right? Okay, so let's go to 4.2. Now we need to calculate the coordinate of P. Remember that you are told from your, use what you are given there, use those properties that you are given there. You were told that P is the turning point of F and lies on the vertical asymptotes of G. So what is interesting is that we are given the x value. We are given that P is equals to 1. What we don't know, it's y. So the missing part is y. So what are we working at? Remember that you were told that P is the turning point of F. So let's write the formula of turning point. So it's going to be y is equals to x plus p squared plus q. Yes, that's what we were given there. That's what we were given, is this, right? And what is interesting, we are given 1. So it's going to be y is equals to, we are given p there. It's going to be which is our vertical asymptote. So it's going to be x minus 1 squared plus q, right? So now our aim is to get q. How do we get q, guys? What is interesting, we're still looking on the graph of f here. We are given a point there, which is a, that passes there, which is a, so it's going to be 5 all over 2. So we are going to use that point 5 all over 2 and 0, in which this is x and y, it's 0. So where you see y, you place 0. Where you see x, you're going to place 5 all over 2. So it's going to be 5 all over 2 minus 1 squared plus q. So from there, we are going to say 5 all over 2 minus 1 squared. That will give us 9 all over 4. Yes, it's going to be 9 all over 4. So we have 9 all over 4 plus q. So we can take 9 all over 4 to the other side. So it's going to be negative 9 all over 4, which is equals to q. Right. So definitely we have gotten our y. Our q will be our y there. So therefore, the coordinate of p will be 1 as well as negative 9 all over 4. Just as they wanted it today, because they said calculate the coordinates of p. So that was 3 marks, guys, right? Okay, so let's go to 4.3. Write down the equation of the vertical asymptote of p if p of x is equals to g of x minus 1. As we can see, this is a shift, guys. It is shift 1 unit to the right. When you equate this to 0, you are going to get 1 unit. So there was a shift that was happening on the graph of G, which is the graph of a parabola, which is this one. So let's go and put this into practice. So we have 4.3. So it's going to be y is equals to 2 divided by x minus 1 plus 2. Remember, there was a shift, a vertical shift. So it's going to be 2. Where you see x, place x minus 1. Replace it by x minus 1 and minus 1 plus 2. So we are going to have, let's simplify this. So we are going to have negative 1 and negative 1. That will be negative 2. So we have y is equals to x, y is equals to 2 divided by x minus 2 plus 2. So there was a shift. No? So there was a shift. So there was a shift, as we can see. But they said the question wanted us at 4.3 to write down the equation of the vertical asymptotes of p. So remember, the vertical asymptote is this one. So we are going to equate it to 0. So it's going to be x minus 2 equated to 0. Take negative 2 to the other side. It becomes x is equals to 2. So x is equals to 2 is the vertical asymptote. It's a vertical asymptote. Right, hope you're still on the same track. So it's advisable that when you're working, pause the video and try to work it yourself. Right, so we are going to do now 4.4. At 4.4, we are required to determine the equation of the axis of symmetry of G in the form of y is equals to x, in the form of y is equals to mx plus c if m is less than 0. When m, which is the gradient, is less than 0, that means the gradient, it's negative. So it's a negative gradient. So they want us to determine the equation of this axis of symmetry. Remember, the equation of the axis of symmetry will pass here. There will be the one that passes here. There will be the one that passes here as well. So in this case, we are working at 4.4. So what are we going to do? Since the gradient is less than 0, our equation will be y is equals to negative x plus c. No? So this is the negative gradient equation. So remember that for you to get c, you are going to use the your asymptotes. Remember, your vertical asymptote was 1 and your horizontal was 2. So you are going to substitute these horizontal as coordinates to find c. So this will be x, remember, which is your vertical, and this is your horizontal. So let's solve for c. Where you see y, you're going to place 2 there. Where you see x, you're going to place 1, so plus c. When you take negative 1 to that side, we're going to have 2 plus 1, which is 3. So in this case, we are going to have negative x plus what? Plus 3 as our solution. And remember that m is less than 0, just as we have stated at 4.4. Okay, Hope guys we're still together. We're still together. Let's go to 4.5 now. Let's look at 4.5. Let's revisit 4.5. Now they said write down the equation of k if k is the reflection of g about x-axis. Okay, let me do it here. So when they say it's the reflection, remember there's a rule for reflection. It's x of y, which will be x of y here. When you reflect about x-axis, what becomes negative? It's negative y. So in this case, so when we are working out the equation of g, so we are going to have y. Remember that the equation of g is this 2 all over x minus 1 plus 2. So your y becomes negative. You divide everything, you're going to have negative 2x minus 1 plus minus 2 here. So it changes. So we are going to have this as our equation, as the reflection in this case. So remember that they said write down the equation of k. So the equation of k will be k here, which is equals to negative 2 divided by x minus 1 minus 2. So this is what is going to happen when you reflect about x-axis. Remember that when you reflect about x-axis, your y value becomes negative. Okay, I hope you're still together at 4.5. Now at 4.6. At 4.6, when they say here we're given that the derivative of f of x and g of x is greater than 0, it means where both of these graphs are positive, or where both of these graphs are negative and negative, because we know that negative and negative will give us positive, and that positive and positive will give us what? Positive. So actually this is the equation of a parabola. What is the gradient? This will be our equation of the tangent. Yes, so since it will be the derivative of the equation of a parabola, it will be the derivative of the equation of a parabola. So it will go here. When you draw it, it will passes here. So now they are looking where these graphs are going above. So it happens, we can see it happens where there is 5 all over 2 and 1. So our solution here will be what? Will be x is greater than 1, or you could say this happens where 0 is greater than x but lesser than 1, or you could just say x is greater than 5 all over 2. This is where it happens. So you should study these notations. They are very important because they will always ask you in your examination. Then let's look at 4.7 now. At 4.7, for which values of k will the equation of g of x is equals to x plus k have two real solutions? Okay, also this one will also happen where the graph of g, we know it's a hyperbola, where this graph goes here. So it will happen at the origin. So in this case, when you're working with this, here it means that k will be greater than 0. This will happen where k is greater than 0 in this case. So it's also very important to know your notations. Remember, they just said for which values of k will the equation g of x was to x plus k have two real roots of opposite signs. It will it's advisable that you draw the sketch. So in this case, when we draw this graph, it will pass us through the origin. So this will happen where k is greater than 0. Hope you find this video useful, guys. That's how you can work out functions, right? So they are not very difficult. They're not that difficult. You just have to know the basics. When you know the basics, you will make it. As you are preparing your prelim for 2023, it's very important that you keep revising your basics, because without basics you will never make it, but with basics and practice you will make it, guys. See you on question 5. Hope you find this video useful, and don't forget to subscribe. You only subscribe once, and share the video, guys, and remember, we love you.